Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Saints head to Carolina. Both the Saints and the Panthers are 1-1 on the season. Carolina, a 19-14 winner over the Jets in Week 1. The Saints pounded Green Bay, as we know, 38-3. I have my feeling on the game. Do you want to go first and give your thoughts on Saints-Panthers?
Yes, I'd like to do. I'd love to do that, actually.
Okay.
I just want to say first off that I was wrong. It takes a man to admit when he was wrong, and I was wrong. The Saints are going to win the Super Bowl. Jameis Winston, let me tell you something, is winning the MVP this year. Most valuable player, Jameis Winston. When these guys get back healthy and you get Mike Thomas back to catch the dang ball, you got a bunch of no-names he's throwing the ball to right now, and they're still putting up points. The Packers are good. I know they start off slow traditionally and all that stuff, but they're a pretty good club. And they handled the Packers. Black and gold's going all the way. They're not going to go undefeated. I was just joking in that one. But they're winning this game because of the offense. Defense is hurt. I get it, but they're winning this game.
So everything in me wants to pick the Saints and to ride the wave from last week. I picked the Saints against the Packers. I did not think it would be 38-3. I did like them to win that game, so I picked them to win the game. I don't feel good about this game for New Orleans. I think if you're making a ledger, right, your pros and cons, the reasons not to pick the Saints in this game it's like an encyclopedia. It's long. I mean, you could talk about an intangible like the letdown. And you were an athlete. Like, this is something that's very real. We see it. Like, you were supposed to play a really competitive game a week ago against Green Bay. You got sky high. Everything went right. Might end up being the best game the Saints have played all year. We may look back and go, man, that was the best game they played all season. Not saying they peaked week 1, but every team at every level in every sport, you have your best game of the year and you have your worst game of the year.
Yeah,
it happens. So that may be the best game they play all year. I think you're not going to play at that level 2 weeks in a row. It's not to say you're going to play badly, but you're not going to be at that level 2 weeks in a row. So that natural letdown where everyone was doubting you last week and now everyone is singing your praises this week because you beat a team that many consider right alongside Tampa as the co-favorites in the NFC. This team has been to back-to-back NFC championship games. You pounded them. Then you start to work in like other distractions, like COVID this week. So you had 6 coaches and your nutritionist and one player who we know now is Mike Thomas, who's not playing but has been rehabbing with the team. You had 6 coaches absent this week. So coaches had to change up responsibilities and duties, and what impact did that have on meeting rooms and on practice? I mean, it's natural, right? I mean, it's going to matter if when you're changing that when you're changing that familiarity up, that schedule, that routine. So you look at those two things. This is a division game, and division games are always very tough. The Saints and the Panthers played in the Dome last year, and that was a very close game. The Saints wound up winning it by a field goal. They kicked a field goal late. They won it 27-24. But the Saints and Panthers did play in Week 17, and Saints kicked the crap out of them. It was like 37-7. I mean, blew them out in Week 17. But a division game, you know your division rivals really well. These tend to be close games. But then I go to all of the injuries, and that's where I look and I go, how do you really overcome this? And when you look at the injury report that came out today, these are the guys that are out for the ball game. Quan Alexander and Marcus Davenport just went to IR. It means they're done for at least 3 weeks. Linebacker is going to be brutal. You lose Quan. Pete Werner is also out, as is Chase Hansen. So that means you've got DeMario Davis and Zach Bond. And that's kind of it. How they figure that out behind those guys, I guess we'll just wait and see on Sunday whenever they tee it up and kick it off. one of the reasons I liked New Orleans last week against Green Bay is as we went through the offseason and we were previewing that game, that the season in that game in particular, we were all assuming that Marshawn Lattimore was going to be suspended. He was not going to be there. So we were talking this offseason about the possibility of it being like Ken Crawley and Paulson Adebo as your starters against Green Bay. Like, that was a terrifying thought. And then P-Rob retired. Well, they flipped that and turned it to a strength, but it was because you had Lattimore. And then you signed Tre'Quan, and you had him on the outside. Adebo played pretty well. And, you got Bradley Roby available this week, which does soften the blow if Lattimore's not able to go. It's worth mentioning Lattimore right now is listed as questionable. He had hand surgery earlier this week.
Do we know what kind of surgery it was?
It was like on his thumb, they said. He injured his thumb, and so I don't know if it was a break or if it was a ligament. I don't know if that's been reported yet, but he had hand surgery earlier this week. He's been practicing, so maybe he'll go put a club on it. We'll see, but how effective will he be? And then C.J. Gardner-Johnson with a knee injury is also questionable and did not practice on Friday. So typically, if you don't practice on Friday, man, you're not going to go. Typically, you're not going to go on Sunday. But he's still listed as questionable, so they're hopeful if he's ready to roll on Sunday, great, run him out there. But it's a possibility you could be without you're going to be without Quan Alexander, Pete Werner, Chase Hansen. So you're very thin at linebacker. And there's a possibility you're going to be without C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Marshawn Lattimore and P.J. Williams, who's been limited with a back injury. So you're probably going to have Bradley Roby on one side, Paulson Adebo, Desmond Tre'Quan. I mean, those are your starters in the secondary against the three-headed monster receiver for Carolina. And then the big blow with Quan is because Christian McCaffrey is who he is, you need a guy like Quan that can run sideline to sideline and can cover backs out of the backfield. Like, that's why Quan is so valuable, especially in this day and age in the NFL. And now, I don't know who that guy is on this team. I mean, Demario Davis is a freak show, don't misunderstand me. But, who's the guy next to Demario Davis? It's going to be Zach Bond, but at what level does he play? I don't know. And now Marcus Davenport's not available. Hopefully Peyton Turner, the first-round draft pick, is available this week. He was a healthy scratch last week, but maybe he plays and fills some of that role. Tano Passanio, as a calf injury, he's questionable. So, are you counting on maybe Carl Granderson more at defensive end? Your depth is being tested completely on the defensive side. And I think this is a real challenge this week for the Saints.
Who's a better offense, Green Bay or Carolina?
Green Bay. But again, the Saints were healthy last week. And I put a lot of stock into the fact that Aaron Rodgers was off gallivanting all offseason. They didn't know if he was going to play this year. So
he's got a better defense.
That's a big deal, I think, for Green Bay that they're going to have to figure out how to get better as the season goes along, because of all the turmoil within that organization. Ultimately, talent wins out. When you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, you're going to win a lot of games. But I don't put that past anybody. As far as better defense, probably Carolina.
Okay.
I mean, Carolina drafted J.C. Horn, so you have a lockdown corner out that you just drafted. They drafted Derek Brown out of Auburn last year on the defensive line.
Monster.
They got Hassan Reddick. I mean, they got some good pass rushers on that defense. I think they present just some different challenges. And it's one of those where you're New Orleans and you face a lot of variables that change. And the other one, which I know some people are going to say is silly, but Mike D came on the show for 10 years, every Thursday for 10 years. And he told us this angle. It was Buddy Diliberto's old betting angle that he used for years. And it was 80%. When a team loses its starting center, they fail to cover 80% of the time. Well, Eric McCoy's your starting center. Now, I watched Cesar Ruiz play really well last week, and Throckmorton played really well right next to him. But that was just necessity in the moment. You go do what you got to do. Now you're preparing to be a starter, and the other team gets to prepare for you as well. Maybe attack some of those vulnerabilities that they see on film. But when you affect the battery, it matters. And man, that number don't lie.
Yeah.
So I know it's silly, but it's in my mind as well, man. I hate to say that. I hope I am dead wrong. I hope we come back here on Monday and you all can point and laugh at me. Just like I laughed at everybody for picking against the Saints this week. But I think Carolina's going to win this game. I'm going to pick the Panthers in a close ball game. I think they win it 24-23. I'm going to pick Carolina to beat the Saints. And if they do, the Saints are going to have to turn around and find a way to win 2 of their next 3. Shorthanded. But they're going to have to find a way to either win on the road in New England. I think they'll win at home against the Giants. I just think they're just a flat better team. That'll be your first game back in the Dome, first true home game. I think they'll beat New York. So if they lose this game in Carolina, they're going to have to split the road games against New England and Washington. And look, Washington didn't look great last night, so that feels winnable. New England with a rookie quarterback feels winnable, but it's still a road game at New England. I mean, I would feel infinitely better about this season, playoff, long-term, all that, if the Saints win this week against Carolina. Division game, it shows that they can be shorthanded, coaches, all the stuff, and still go on the road and win a division game. Like, I would feel amazing about this team if they go win this game. I just think this is a mighty big ask to go get this one in Carolina this week. I'm going to pick the Panthers. Do you hate me?
I'm a little angry right now.
Well, you know what? I'm kind of pissed at you, actually. Because last week you were talking about the Saints suck, the fans are stupid, they need to tear down the Superdome and get the team and go move to San Antonio or some crap. And now you're here and you're saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. Jameis is going to win the MVP.
He is going to win the MVP.
One thing no one can ever accuse me of is being a homer. But tell you what I feel, whether I like it or not.
I'm a homer, huge homer.
I know you're a huge homer, so I know no one should ever take your opinions.
Love the bandwagon.
Nobody should ever take your opinions seriously.
Yeah, they should.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.